Bluetooth was connected to something else. Sorry about that. Today, I wanted to get on real quick. I know it's not my usual time, but what I wanted to do is do a little earlier session, try to get some of those people that might be on their lunch break, or some of those people that just can't get to me around 5 o'clock or whenever I usually do these things. What I wanted to do is go over a lot of the questions that I'm getting as far as meal plans, Spivey, meal plans, net carbs, calorie limits, stuff like that. That's what I worded this one at. So we're going to go over a couple of those things. I had somebody yesterday that totally is not losing weight. Okay, they requested help, so I tried to find out more about them. Of course, their fats were like 70, their proteins were at 90, and carbs were at net 29 or something like that. First of all, there's a lot going wrong there. There's a lot, okay? If you're not losing, I get that you want me to help you, and I will, but there's a limit to what I could help with, you guys. You got to try to understand this diet a little better if that's how you're jumping into it. If you don't know that this is supposed to be a high-fat diet and you're eating low-fat, if you don't prep out your meals, if you don't have an idea of what you're going to eat that day, you might fail at this, okay? And I don't want anybody to fail, but I can't hold your hand every step of the way. There's a point where you guys are going to have to kind of get the basic ideas from me, because this person just said, all right, just give me a week of meals. And I was like, no, I'm not. I don't have time for that, for one. And two, doesn't help you. And three, how do I know what you eat, what you like, how much food you need? It's nonsense. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to teach you about what foods to eat. Okay. How to make your own meal plan. You have to think of this stuff on your own. I just couldn't believe that they're like, just give me a meal plan. And I was like, do you even think this is going to help you if I do that? If you guys agree or disagree, just give me a thumbs up. If you don't, I understand why the thumbs up are so low. But there's a limit to what I could actually help you with. I can't just magically come up with a meal every day for you, and then and expect it to work for you. You understand what I'm saying? You guys follow me on that? Yeah, you got to learn for yourself. Exactly, Cornelius. Cornelius, who's back on the wagon again. Don't fall off no more, brother. Let's see. And if you do, holler at me. That's another reason why I'm here. I'm here to help you guys to kind of like your sponsor, I guess, if you are an alcoholic. I'm your sponsor for keto. So if you're having a rough patch, text me, call me, say, listen, I'm looking at a Snickers bar, or I'm sitting in the middle of my whole family while we're watching a movie and everybody's passing popcorn around. What do? You sit on the floor. Yeah, that's it. You get away from the popcorn. That's for one. Now let's get back to this, the whole meal thing. You're gonna look. There's ways to find all this stuff out. There's Pinterest. There's YouTube videos that I have. I have tons of YouTube videos. Good reference. You're our sponsor. That's it. That's really what it is. I'm your sponsor, and I'm kind of a guide. I'm a guide to teach you, but I'm not here to do the diet for you. Okay, I've done the diet. I know what works for me, but you're going to have to figure out what actually works for you. I don't know what your allergies are. If I recommended food for you for some reason, and you get sick, holy crap, that's on me. Michael Graves is here, who changes his profile pic like every day. What's up, Rick? How are you, brother? Kind of going over meal plans. If you guys have any suggestions on that, I tried to give the person like a something from Pinterest so that they would have an idea of meal plans. But I said, and then they were like, I just want the recipes. I don't know these recipes. You know, the way I do it is very simple. I do keto very simple. I don't go all out. Now, if I get bored, yeah, I'll go out and I'll try to make something up like a pizza or something like that. I just went from 5 thumbs up to 4. Oh man, laziness will not work. No, you got to put forth some effort. This is not a diet that you just kind of wing it. You just kind of guess at it. And that gets me to the rest of the things I want to talk about. It's not one where you go onto some website that's going to track your calories. I get that you want to track everything, and a lot of people are passing out the names of these apps and stuff like that. But then these apps kind of tell you, okay, here's the amount of calories I want you to eat at to lose weight. And when you first start the keto diet, you can't do it initially focus on the weight loss part of it. Okay, I know that's odd, that's scary, because most of you are here for keto to lose weight. All right. Why was that message retracted, Rick? I don't know. Anyway, Kina, it is an early one today. I'm just trying to reach other people that I can't get to in the early evening. So I'm trying an afternoon one. I might even try a morning one time. We'll see what happens. But when you get into the ketogenic diet, initially you want to lose weight. So you're trying to bring in some of these old ideas. Like, okay, I cut back the calories. I'll cut back the things I eat. I'll skip meals. I'll do this. I'll do that. And that kind of doesn't work with the ketogenic diet. Okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, it is 9:30 there. Yep. But I'm glad you're here. Okay? Appreciate it. So the idea when you get into the ketogenic diet that you kind of want to get your calories up in the beginning, because like I've been telling you guys for months, I think, if not longer. If you guys have been with me for years, that's great. But most of you guys have just been with me for a few months. So what I tell people is get your calories higher, get them up, eat higher fats. This isn't about a fat lever or something like that, where that's just more old-fashioned ideas creeping into the ketogenic diet. And you kind of got to get rid of that old mindset. You got to get rid of those old things that you used to do with all the other diets. I've told people this before, but it just, if you need to hear it out loud, it's going to make a lot of sense. You're already cutting down your carbohydrates and you're reducing your proteins, hopefully, to a moderate level. Most people tend to overeat on their proteins. Now, if you're already there on those 2 macros, and those are the macros that will actually produce glycogen, which will give you an energy source that you're trying to get away from. Okay? So that's why you're reducing those. You're reducing the carbs, you're reducing the sugars, or eliminating the sugars, hopefully. And you're reducing your proteins to a level where you're only going to eat enough protein for the amount that your body needs. All right? So those macros are already taken care of, and those are usually pretty good. Now the problem is the fats. All right? If you're going to do the keto diet, it's a high-fat diet, so you have to get your fats in. You can't just naturally cut all of your macros, okay, including your fats, and by following this fat lever people are talking about, and expect your body to then utilize all your body fat just because somebody on another website told you this. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing this diet. It's just not that easy. You have to basically prime that pump. You have to get those fats up, and you have to know what foods are going to get you those high fats. You got to know what foods are going to keep your proteins down. You got to do some research on this stuff. You have to look at it, because I have people from Wales. I have people from Sweden. I have people from Emirates. I have people from Saudi Arabia. I have people from India, from Pakistan, from Australia, United States, from South America. I have people from Central America. I have people just about everywhere, all over in Europe too. I'm starting to get a lot of people in Europe, which I really like. And I'm getting people in Africa. I have a lot of people from different parts of Africa. And this diet's really getting around. It's gaining global popularity because of the science behind it. So you just have to realize that every place has different foods. I was going over all these different foods that were in Australia that I had never even seen before. Like, we don't get all that food around here. Like these burger rings, chicken salt, Tim Tams, Vegemite, all this stuff that I was talking to my friend in Australia about. It's just crazy stuff. And a lot of it's not that good for you, okay? There's a lot of it's like, I noticed that most of those things that are pretty predominantly in Australia, a lot of them are pretty high in sugar. You know, just like a lot of the stuff that if they came over here and they look at our food and they're like, Jesus, this stuff's crazy. Like, for instance, their burger. A burger looks great, and they put a fried egg on top, a runny fried egg. And I actually like it that way. I like putting it. I tend to put an egg just about with everything. I put it with my coffee. If you've gotten that booklet, you see that. That's one of my bulletproof coffees is with an egg in it. And it's a raw egg. Some people are wondering, do you actually cook the egg first? I was like, I don't understand how you would do that and put it in your coffee. But I get it. Some people are asking this before they've actually had their morning coffee. So I'll give you a mulligan on that one. But they put a fried egg, and then they'll put pineapple on their burger, and then they'll put red beetroots they call them. They're sliced, hot, heated up beets on their burger. Beets, pineapple, egg, burger, cheese, bacon, lettuce, tomato, onions. I just can't do all that. It just, yeah. And especially beets for a keto diet, they're definitely not keto. That's another thing. When you learn the foods, you're going to learn that foods that grow underground, that's the root. Okay, that's where a lot of plants hold their sugar, so you want to avoid those things. Your turnips, your radishes. Radishes, I hear, don't hold as much sugar, but your beets do, your turnips do, stuff like that. Carrots. And sometimes carrots are borderline depending on how you cook them. So a lot of these things you're going to learn over time. Like, I just catch these things every now and then. Like tomatoes. Tomatoes are, of course, those of us that know, foods and have thought about it, we always assumed what I did when I was a kid, that tomatoes, I've heard radishes okay, but I think there's actually some sugar in them too. But I've also seen where they take radishes and turn them into like fried potatoes. They slice them up and they supposedly taste like fried potatoes. Shoot, I didn't want to stray off, and now I forgot what I was talking about. You guys are killing me with these. You just kind of have to get to know what foods are going to work for you. The tomato. If you didn't know it, it's a fruit, okay, and which means it has some sugar in it. So you want to limit yourself on your tomato. That's why I go with that Rayo's spaghetti sauce that I get, and I actually bought mine at Target. Target had it. Pretty reasonable price, like $4 something for a jar, as opposed to Amazon. I think that was selling them for like $10 something a jar. So Rayo's has the least amount of sugar in their spaghetti sauce, which I use for whether I'm using it for whatever, spaghetti, meat, pizza, whatever. Put it on meatballs, just to do something with it. I like that tomato sauce. It's really good. It's got a lot of flavor, and it's something that I would recommend. Now, let's get back to this whole other thing, carbs, net carbs versus total carbs. My theory is, and this is the way I've learned it, is if you eat it, you count it. Okay. Granted, there's a lot of different talks about, oh well, the fiber the fiber you can deduct because the fiber isn't a soluble carbohydrate. That's not one that you can break down. I get the science behind it, but it doesn't mean that all the nutrients that are still in it aren't going to come out. You're still going to absorb some of that. Okay. I get on okay with tomato. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like some people will have a very high sugar reaction to some foods, and some people won't, and that's the issue. Let me think. What else can we talk about? With that whole net carb thing? If you eat it, I think you should just count it. Don't treat the the guy that created net carb, it was one of his biggest single regrets. Now, he actually created the idea of net carb to get his grandkids to eat more vegetables. That was the whole idea. Keto Lifestyle, was that who it was? Yeah, Keto Lifestyle just said that they read an article about that doctor. It was one of his biggest single regrets of his life. I'd like to read more about him. And so I could actually give you guys some better fact and better science behind all this. So yeah, the idea that you could eat as much carbohydrates as long as they have fiber with them is kind of it's defeating the whole purpose of doing a low carb diet. And granted, there are some people that can do 50 carbs or 100 carbs and still maintain the ketogenic state. But most of us cannot. Most of us that have already gained weight, see belly fat, and aren't doing this just for the health reasons of it alone, the low carb is probably where you need to go. And that 20 low carb, it's not a goal. Okay, I've told people so many times, the idea of hitting that 20 is not the way you're supposed to treat the diet. Don't use that 20 carbohydrates. Oh, I could go to 20. So you're going to figure out everything you can to get to 20 carbs. I don't care if you stay at 10 carbs, or 15. You shouldn't hit 20, okay? And don't just, think that you can do it because, I can subtract these 25 carbs because they were all fiber. Now I'm actually eating 55 grams of carbs, but now it's only going to say that I ate 25 grams of carbs or whatever, 30 grams. So no, if you come to me and ask for help and you're talking net carbs, you're talking that you're eating less than 1,200 or around 1,200 calories a day. You just started the diet. Your fats are under 100. Your proteins are closer to 100 than your fats. You got to step back and say, hold on. There's a reason I've been doing this thing for a month and a half or 2 months, however long you've been doing it, and you're not losing any weight. I told this person, you literally need to stop the keto diet and start all over. Forget everything you've learned, because everything I think you've learned was misinformation. And I've stressed misinformation out there. Okay? There's a lot of people that are trying to implement the old school ideas for keto, and keto is pretty basic. It's not I don't know, it's not like any other diet. I never have trouble with keto. Like so many people say they're struggling with their fats or they're struggling with their protein. I track. I've gotten to a point where what people call is lazy keto. All right, lazy keto. Now, lazy keto doesn't mean that you don't follow strictly the foods that you're supposed to eat, or that you take cheat meals or stuff like that. It's just not. Lazy keto is, you just don't track everything. So some people only track their carbohydrates. Now for me, most important macro is fats. All right, you're on a high fat diet. Everything else is you just kind of avoid. So if you, and almost everybody that talks to me and has issues, they have an issue with their fats not being high enough. So focus on your fats. Everything else is kind of going to fall in place. All right. Focus on where you're getting your fats from. Make sure it's not all from protein. Make sure that you find a way to do something that's bulletproof, because that's free fat to get in without getting any of the other macros in. Okay. When some people are trying to say, isn't that cheating? No, because butter is actually an animal fat as well. Okay, so you are getting fats from animal, which is what I always tell you. It's probably the best way to get your fats in, is to get it through animal fats. Okay, because it's the most nutritious. Now, granted, some of that coconut oil and stuff like that might be a little bit less desirable as far as fats go, but they're still fats, and your body's still going to utilize them. Okay, it's just you just have to get used to consuming fats. That's all it is. And it's not an easy thing, because a lot of us have gallbladder issues. A lot of us have fatty livers. A lot of us have problems with the mental part of eating so much fat. Okay, I get that. And it is an issue. It's totally get it. But you have to kind of come into this diet and forget everything you ever learned, because everything you learned about eating your whole life, it's the exact opposite. Okay, it's the exact opposite. The whole, like the pyramid they show you guys, the pyramid, it's flipped upside down. So everything is the exact opposite. So all your thinking that you used in other diets, it's the exact opposite. What you thought about salt, it's the exact opposite. Don't try to lower your salt, increase your salt. Your water, you have to increase your water on the ketogenic diet. You have to, people thought, well, you have to eat 6 meals a day. Nope. You could eat 3 and get away with it. You could even eat less eventually, okay, once you're fat adapted. And that's the whole goal. I don't know that I stressed that recently, but in my first few videos, or what you'll see is I really focus on that, because it really is. Getting fat adapted is the goal, okay? It's not just getting into ketosis. Ketosis is great, which means you stopped eating carbohydrates and sugars. Okay, that's the very, very, very first step of the ketogenic diet, to eliminate the carbs and the sugars so that your body doesn't have glycogen anymore. Yep, you're in ketosis, limited, okay? Your body's now struggling to figure out where those glycogens are, why you're not feeding it anymore. So it's feeling like it's in a starvation mode, okay? And so now it's going to start breaking down some of your fats and turning them into protein. But it doesn't mean that you're utilizing all those ketones for energy yet, because what your body's going to do when it goes into a starvation mode is that it's going to try to shut things down. It's going to try to decrease your activity. It's going to decrease your energy, decrease your digestion system, decrease everything, in order to accommodate you eating such low calories and low stuff. Now, once you start giving it all this fat, okay? Somebody just asked about beans, whether they could eat them or not. I think beans are a no. If you're watching my video, beans are a no. Naomi, beans are a no. But you have to teach the body, okay, I'm not giving you anything to make glycogen from. I'm only going to give you stuff to make ketones from. So you need to get adapted to this fat, or we're going to be fighting. That's what your body's telling you. You have to tell it. And eventually the body gives in. Okay, the body will give in. It takes it a little while. It takes it a long while, because depending on how long you were so dependent on glycogen and so addicted to carbs and your cravings of sugar, a lot of those things will take time to go away. Okay, your appetite will be suppressed, but you still have to try to get in that fat. You still have to try to get those calories up, because going into the ketogenic diet on low calorie, it's not going to get you any weight loss. All right. It's not going to get you the opportunity to decrease your food eventually. And then and automatically your body's going to start needing all those extra calories, because it's just not going to do it that way. You have to get your body used to a higher caloric intake, okay, where it's functioning properly, where all things are a go, all the little functions your body needs, the higher energy, the thinking, the digestion, everything that you want turned on and elevated and increased. And to like when people first start another diet and they start working out, they feel all this extra energy. That's what you should feel just by switching to the ketogenic diet. And that's what I'm stressing. So you're going to get all that extra energy. Use it. Start to use it. Start to build up that caloric intake. Start to force the body to require more calories than you were eating, okay? Because you can't come in this low, because there's nowhere to cut once you start cutting down. And your body will naturally start to cut down your caloric intake on the keto diet. But don't get it used to this low number and then try to cut down, because no matter what you're going to do, it's going to reduce your functions. Okay, it's just the way it's gonna do it. You are giving a lot of information, Keto, and I guess you and Rhonda are talking. I'm gonna let you two talk it out then. I don't know if you're talking to me. Nope, you say Aunt Rhonda. So okay. So if you get that caloric intake higher and you get it used to that, you might gain a couple pounds in the very beginning of this ketogenic diet, but don't sweat that. Don't get all scared on it, okay? Because you're just getting your body used to those extra calories. It doesn't know how to use them yet, but once it starts using them, it's going to start reducing down. There's been a lot of people that have done this test. Of course, they were already in the ketogenic state, so they thought, okay, what if I increase my calories up to 4,000 a day, but stay within the ketogenic diet? And honestly, you would think if somebody's doubling their caloric intake, okay, that they would actually gain a lot of weight, and they just don't, okay? Because it's not about the calories that you're eating. It's about the insulin, the hormonal response of the foods that you're eating. If you're stressing out, cortisol will help make you gain weight. If you eat foods that spike your blood sugar, the insulin will make you gain weight. But the idea of a ketogenic diet is to be stress-free, okay? It's not supposed to stress you out. It's not supposed to increase your blood sugar. So it keeps your insulin level and it keeps your cortisol level at a very controlled range, so that you don't store fat. You don't feel stressed out. And I get so many people that are just like stressing out over why they're not losing weight. And you just gotta keep on ketoing, I guess. You gotta trust in the process and just say, you know what? My body is gonna react eventually. I'm not gonna demand that the scale changes every day, or that it even changes in the first couple of weeks, because it's not. It's the majority of people will not lose a lot of weight after that initial water weight. That's just because the body is converting over from one energy source to the other, and it's fighting it, okay? And I want people to understand this, and this is where I have mentioned this over and over again, and I want you to really watch some of these videos. Go back and watch all my videos. I need a lot more watch time. People are asking me questions, and I know I've said a lot of this stuff in 10 of my videos, at least. You're not going to lose a lot of weight in that very beginning. You're going to hit that plateau. You're going to get frustrated. You got to resist that frustration, because that stress, cortisol, weight gain, like exercising too soon, causes the stress on the body, causes the fat metabolism to stop, and it causes more cortisol and causes more weight gain. So people think, well, I could just work out and eat right and da-da-da. Again, that's the old mindset, all right? Keto is not your mom and pop's diet, I guess. It's more like your grandparents' diet. They didn't go to the gym all the time, okay? because there weren't any. The very first fitness gym in America was created by Jack LaLanne, and he recently passed away. So the man that opened the first gym in America passed away. So gyms have not been around a long time, but now you'll find 4 or 5 of them in most towns, or 20 in the city or something like that. Because I worked at a gym. I was a trainer for a long time, and yes, you did. I was a trainer for a long time, and I worked at a gym that really kind of looked like the Taj Mahal of gyms. It was called Lifetime Fitness, and I was one of 60 trainers, 60. Now, I was lucky enough one month at least to get Trainer of the Month, Most Valuable Trainer. I had a lot of clients. at that time, and I did the whole fasting thing sometimes. I experimented with lots of different diets with these people. I was in better shape then, as you could imagine. So these people relied on me to know what I was doing, and I wish I would have stuck with the keto diet back then, because I did try it back in the early 2000s, and when it was called the Atkins diet. And I still have all my stuff on the Atkins diet. I still have the Atkins starter manual, the box set of the VHS tapes, the videotapes. So I kind of want to go back and watch that and see how funny that would be. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about, besides the net carbs and besides the me making you a meal plan, which I won't do. I'm not going to do that. I may make up and show you my own meal plan, but showing you my meal plan isn't really going to help you. Okay, that's my meal plan. That's what works for me. Chances are a girl that's 5'5", trying to achieve a different thing, is not going to have the same results as a guy that's 6'3", or 250 pounds. It's just not going to happen. So the last thing I want to talk about is, let me think. What was it? Oh, yeah. Well, it was carb limitations or calorie limitations. Don't limit yourself with those calories. Don't limit yourself with calories. If for the most of it, don't do net carbs, especially when you're just starting. It's true that as you get better with the ketogenic diet, your body can handle carbohydrates again. All right? So there is a point where you can increase certain amounts of carbohydrates. But at the same time, you're also going to have to probably increase your fats, okay? Because there's going to be less fat utilized from your body. And the way Dr. Finney does it, he does start out with a moderate to like a moderate level fat, and I don't agree with him on that. And you don't have to agree with everybody on everything, but I kind of go with Dr. Eric Westman, and he just says this is it. This is how it's done. Okay, he has this seminar where you go to it, and page 4 is page 4. Okay, there's somebody outside my house. He has his booklet. Okay, and page 4 basically tells you what you can and can't eat. And he walks around the room, and people raise their hand and ask questions, and he'll say, hold on. He'll look through it. It's not on page 4. Well, can I eat this? It's not on page 4. Why isn't this on there? I didn't put it on there. It's page 4, and that's it. And that was my go-to page for when I was doing the ketogenic diet. That was my only reference to what should I do on keto, or what can I do. And again, I've told this before. Again, I've been saying that a lot today. But maybe because I'm running out of ideas of what to help you guys with. But there wasn't a lot of people out there that were doing keto. There wasn't a lot of people explaining keto, and that's why I do what I do. So I'm just trying to help you guys because I didn't have that help. So Before I leave, does anybody have any questions? Because we're having another nor'easter out here. I'm on the east coast of the United States. In the Poconos, which are like a vacation kind of resort for the wintertime. If you guys don't know a lot about it, I live in the Poconos up in northeast Pennsylvania. That's where I live. A lot of you guys always wonder, have asked where I'm from, and that's where I'm from. I'm trying so hard to keep it under 90 at all times. Is that protein that you're trying to keep under 90? Anybody else? While she's writing a question or response. It happens, everyone. Good thing you are releasing glycogen from the muscle to utilize. So rapid afterwards. Redeem. I'm not going to tell you about my weather then. Yeah, you probably shouldn't, because it's probably a lot nicer than it is right now. Like literally I have snow coming down. Snow covering my streets. My wife's coming home early. She got early dismissal she's a school teacher, and she's early release because of the roads and stuff. The other day when we had our other nor'easter, yeah, Rick, rub that in. 78 degrees in Florida. We had the other issue, and literally where she works, which is only about a half an hour south of here, they didn't get any snow where she works. But up here, we ended up with like 4, 6, 7 inches of snow. And so on her way home, she got stuck on the interstate because a tractor trailer crashed and took out the whole length of the interstate, pinned a vehicle up against the guardrail, and she was stopped in traffic for like 3 hours, just sitting there. And the snow was coming down worse and worse, like it is supposed to today. I guess today we're supposed to get up to 12 inches today. Sucks. Yeah. Anyway. Keto lifestyle. 62 in California. Thanks, Cindy. Yeah. Keto lifestyle. She's been writing books today. Very interesting stuff. If you're looking for stuff to talk about, what do you think of subtracting insoluble fiber but counting soluble? An idea I've been playing with, but the U.S. doesn't require those counts on labels. I don't like it. I know that's kind of like what I was just talking about with the whole net carbs and stuff like that. Some people are gonna, do it anyway. They're gonna subtract that fiber from their carbohydrates. I'm not one of them that likes it. I'm not one that's gonna gravitate towards that. Just not. I just think if you eat it, count it, take responsibility for what you ate. Because somebody else was telling me the other day too that if you're fasting, it was a debate over fasting. I'll get to that in 1 second, Rick. Fasting, that if you only eat something about 50 calories a day or at a time, it won't break your fast. Okay, so I thought about that, and I thought I don't see how that could happen. So if I ate 2 Hershey Kisses, which are about 7 grams of sugar a piece, it's more than your body can handle, by the way. 7 and they're only 48 calories. So I could eat 2 Hershey Kisses every hour for 24 hours. That'd almost be 1,200 calories a day, but my body would still consider me fasting. I don't see how. I don't see how that could possibly work. So there's a lot of ideas and theories out there where there's people that swear there's scientific proof behind it and everything else. And granted, there could be, but I'm not one of those that's going to say I could eat all these fibrous carbohydrates, because most of the carbohydrates I eat are fibrous. All right, they are. They're mostly crunchy, leafy green. The real crunchier of the leafy green vegetables that I can get. So, and I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. I probably am right around 10 maybe less than 15. I almost never hit 20. There's days where I haven't hit any carbohydrates, like zero, where, you know, I basically had proteins and fats that day, which it happens. It's going to happen to you guys. It's going to be days where you're just totally bored of eating a salad. There's going to be times where you just, if you look at a salad, it's just not going to be appetizing. And I get it. It happens. So, what else we got? Anything? Supposedly, these comments are supposed to go with the download on YouTube. The first one this week on Monday did, but then yesterday's video, it didn't work out. I didn't check it again last night, but right after it downloaded, they weren't there. So maybe it takes a day or two. I don't know, but it didn't on the first one. All right, we got any more questions? Any comments? Any concerns? Anything? Oh, I forgot to answer Rick's question. Rick was, how much no salt can I use? No salt is basically, it's a really good way of getting potassium in. So I believe no salt has 19%. So you probably don't want to do more than 3 or 4 servings of no salt a day. Okay, that's the brand no salt. Because you don't want to go over on potassium. It's just not a good idea. Do you count carbs if I eat chia seeds? I don't eat chia seeds every day. So if I do eat them, sometimes I count them. You know, like for me, I'm lazy keto, right? So, and I focus on my fats because I know that my carbs are never going to be near 20. They're never near 20, never. Like I don't eat enough vegetables. Maybe that's a flaw, maybe not. But it's worked for me. And you're going to have to figure out what works for you. Granted, there are a lot of items that have hidden carbs and hidden sugars, but I avoid sugar all the time. I know Jason Whitrock and all his keto coaches are doing this war on sugar right now, the 21-day war on sugar. And I'm friends with a couple of those people that are doing that, and with Jason. And like they're not doing any sugar at all for 21 days. I get that, but my whole way of doing the ketogenic diet, maybe it's really strict because I don't do sugar at all, period. If there's food that has sugar in it, I don't eat it. Like some people are saying, well, it only has like 2 grams of sugar. Still 2 grams of sugar I don't eat, okay? I'm kind of strict on it. I will not touch anything with sugar, period. Nothing, zero. Like, I don't eat fruit. I don't even eat the occasional strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, stuff like that. They're sitting in my fridge. My wife eats them. But, well, swerve and erythritol, they're sometimes, but most days, I don't eat them either. Okay? And I don't really consider them sugar because they're not spiking my blood sugar, for one. I've checked with erythritol. I've checked with, because they're a sugar substitute. It's like the replacement of sugar. It's not sugar. It's kind of like the alternative to sugar. So if you're having an alternative, and it's not the same thing, then I don't think you're really, I don't know, you're not really having sugar if you're having an alternative that is going to give you the same negative reaction or whatever. Yeah, I've seen that. But like if I put anything, sometimes I'll put a little bit of it in my coffee, but none of my food has sugar in it. None. Zero. And I don't mind coffee without sugar. I don't. It's like I could take it or leave it, or with stevia or with anything. And if I do, it's part of a quarter of a teaspoon. So it's like, it's nothing. It's like, I don't even know why I put it in sometimes. But I don't think that putting a quarter of a teaspoon of stevia in one ingredient of one item you eat all day is going to be make a big difference to what they're doing. Okay. I get that it's promotional and it draws a lot of attention, but I don't know. I thought keto is the absence of sugar anyway. I just didn't understand it, or the push behind it. All right, what else we got? I don't use dairy either. Keto lifestyle. I don't do a lot of dairy. I don't do a lot of cheese. There's sometimes when I will, but very rare. I don't put cheese on my eggs or stuff like that. So I went to the doctor yesterday. Cornelius. Got my diabetes blood work. Uh-oh. My doctor was amazed. She asked, what am I doing? My A1C went from 13 to 5.9. Cornelius, you are so close. 5.6 is where you want to get to. But you know what? Coming from 13 to 5.9, all hail. All hail. That's what it's all about. Now, here's the problem you might run into, Cornelius, is that when you do the ketogenic diet and you're worried about cholesterol, okay, what's going to happen is blood is going to come, or blood, fat cells are going to be opened up, and there's going to be fat in your blood, and it's going to make your LDL appear can't even speak today, appear to be higher than what it really is. If your triglycerides, again, are under 150, closer to 100, then your LDLs that you have in your blood are not the bad LDLs that the doctor needs to worry about or to even suggest going on statins, which is ridiculous. Yeah, I told my doctor, no, I won't do it. I won't do statins. Statins are a joke. That's my opinion. Did they tell you anything else, Cornelius? When you start the ketogenic diet, it's going to regulate your blood sugar. It's going to bring your blood sugar down because you're not spiking your blood sugar anymore. Look at that, Cindy Brown. Cindy Brown kicking it. She's 4.7. Nope, that was it. Try to find out what your triglycerides were, what your LDL were, and what your HDL were. LDL, HDL, triglycerides. Your HDLs, you want to have them above 40. All right, for a man, I think is above 40. You want your triglycerides below 150. Mine, I think, are now right at 100 or just below now. My HDLs have really increased from what they were. They were in the 20s, which is really bad. My triglycerides used to be, when I first started keto, they were like near 500. And 500 is like, they show you the range of where your triglycerides should be, and then they don't go over 500 because 500 is pretty stinking bad. So mine were at 477. I don't know that you should do that yet, Cornelius. Be careful because that has some medical information, personal information. Try not to get that too much out in the web. Of course, block it out if you want. Black out certain parts, and we'll talk about it. That's the thing, guys. I do these YouTube videos to help you guys, but I don't just do these YouTube videos to try to make money because honestly, I don't make any money. I have never made a dime on YouTube in my entire life. I know there's other people out there that are making a living off of this. I'm already a corrections officer. I do this, for the most part, if you guys can't tell, I do this for the fun. I do this for the fulfillment, the enjoyment. I know it sounds all sappy and weird and crazy, but that's what I do it for. I like helping people. I do. Anyway, What else we got before I leave? We're already at 50 minutes. I could never stay under 30 minutes on these things. I don't know why. But I just want to take one or two more questions if I can. We'll talk real quick. It isn't crazy. Thank you, Redeem. Appreciate that. My triglycerides were spivey. Were always sky high. Since keto, they are perfect. That's what it does. That's the best reason to do something. Thanks for everything. You're welcome, Keto Lifestyle. Keto Lifestyle has a really, really good channel. You want to check her out. I think that's, making sure I'm thinking of the right person. I get you and the other one that's Keto something lifestyle mixed up sometimes. But confirm to me, Keto Lifestyle, that you have a channel. I don't always look at names of channels when I go on them anymore. I just listen to what they say. Sarah at Pearls of Wisdom. Have you guys ever listened to Sarah at Pearls of Wisdom? That lady, she's probably what I would consider the epitome of a tree hugger, and I just want to hug her to death. The way she talks, the way she's so, as a matter of fact, bam, the way she is awesome. So if you ever want to look at a channel and really enjoy what you're listening to, as opposed to me, Pearls of Wisdom. She's just like, she's like my mom or something. She really is. I don't know. I just watch her just to make myself feel good because she reminds me of my mom. Except, I don't know. This one does keto and my mom didn't do keto. My mom ended up dying from heart disease, kidney failure, blood clots. Lots of stuff she could have avoided if this stupid diet was around then. And I knew what I was doing then. I do a lot of cooking videos, some keto tips and tricks. There you guys go. Check out Keto Lifestyle. Everybody that watches this video or replays this video, check out Keto Lifestyle. I really, she's got so much information. Like, she makes me question what I think I know half the time. And she's a smarty pants. I think it's a she. It's just, I can't think of it. It's the one I'm on. I goof up on this one all the time. Kidney failure, yeah. Well, the reason my mom died of kidney failure was because her kidneys shut down, and she had congenital heart disease because she had heart attacks in her 40s, along the same as my father did. They're both passed away. The hospital said after her kidneys shut down, she started to really fill out the blood. She wasn't excreting any water or anything. Right, my mom was a type 2 diabetic too. And they did not want to put her on dialysis to take the water off of her because they were afraid it was going to kill her because her heart was so weak with the congenital heart disease, and she wore oxygen and everything. So instead of putting her on dialysis to try to remove all that excess water, they just said no. And the result was that she passed away. So I didn't understand. How can you say you don't want to risk something because somebody could die from it, and then you don't do it and they still die from it? And I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. So let's go on to something else. My whole family, like my mom's side at least, they all had cancer or diabetes or something like that, and they all died early. I don't have any grandparents or parents or aunts and uncles left anymore. I have my one Aunt Sue and my one Aunt Fran, but they're not like blood related. They were just married to my mom's brothers. What else we got? Okay, guys. Yeah, I wish I had known about keto back then too. But it's another reason why I do what I do for you guys. It's because of who I didn't help and who I should have tried to help or something back before. Maybe I'm just trying to make amends for it now. All right, guys. I've wasted so much more of your time, like a whole hour in the middle of your day. I apologize. I hope you can look back and watch this video. See you guys. All right. Take care. Bye.